The following is a clip from the highly acclaimed educational radio program, The White Riot Show.
Hold on. Let me get the appropriate music for this while you tell the story.
It better not be. Very good.
All right, you're welcome. I figured get on the ball with that.
You're on a roll.
Continue your story.
So, but what I used to get is a lot of, and you see it in movies like that.
Yeah.
There's also a movie called China Girl, which is fantastic.
Right.
In the 1980s, it didn't do very well in the theaters, but like A Bronx Tale is kind of an interesting thing because what you get is our neighborhood was almost like, in the movie, for instance,
right.
who actually turned out now to be a criminal.
Right.
Lilo Brancato. He does this quick little speech. He goes, the country was at war.
Right.
Vietnam. He goes, the Yankees were doing. He goes, and my neighborhood stayed the same.
Right.
And my neighborhood was a lot like that.
The movie was set in the mid-'60s, by the way.
Well, late 60s.
Late 60s, right.
But it's still the same thing because I grew up in my neighborhood in the early 70s. It was the same thing. Not in the Bronx, but the point is, it used to be like its own little world, and it was kind of sealed off.
Right.
And like the other problems that people had in the city, when the city was really going through, didn't happen to us.
Right.
Like the neighborhood that I grew up in, we still people didn't lock their car doors. They didn't lock their doors. They left their windows open to get fresh air. Like other things that other people in the city couldn't do.
Right.
Couldn't do. And, there was always talk of like, look what, losers, we don't have to live like that.
Right.
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that. And you'll see that in certain ethnic enclaves.
Sure.
And, certainly I grew up in one of those. And,
so did I. Yeah.
It was like its own little safe world.
Right.
And it was protected by the people, So, I mean, there was always a little bit of that, because if you ever went over to like the East Side, and Alphabet City, which was very Hispanic, or Chinatown, look, honestly, it wasn't as clean as our neighborhood. They had more graffiti, they had more of a mess, it looked somewhat disorganized, and then you start really wondering about people.
But that's my point, right? So, you grew up, you said you never got into the violence, you never were motivated to go beat anybody up. But, I'm just listening to you talk, and it's nostalgic for you. Your neighborhood, largely an Italian neighborhood, and you're saying, well, look at it. Even though you maybe didn't even realize it, you're saying, well, look at their neighborhoods. Theirs were dirtier, had more graffiti. It was different. We could do things that they couldn't do. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that people in your neighborhood used all those things as motivation to keep the neighborhood that way.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we're Italian. We're not Chinese. We're not like them. Yeah. Let's keep our neighborhood clean.
Right.
Let's not do graffiti. Let's not break bottles on the street.
Let's not have garbage cans.
And by the way, if you five guys see anybody come into the neighborhood that doesn't belong here, you encourage them to leave. Not necessarily beat them up or anything, but you say, look, maybe stare at them until they leave. Whatever.
Right.
So what I'm trying to get at is, and I'm sure in Chinatown they were saying similar things about Little Italy.
Join us every week at www.whiteriotshow.com to follow the latest exploits of Big Fat John and Judo Larry M. This is Mark, the man with the golden voice, and my testicles are killing me.